The shotgun blast echoed through the cornfields like God's own thunder, shattering the summer night and my brother's wedding rehearsal dinner in one cruel stroke. Blood pooled on the checkered tablecloth, staining the white lace doilies my mother had sewn by hand, as Uncle Ray slumped forward, his eyes wide in that final, unforgiving stare. "You did this?" My father hissed at me from across the chaos, his voice a venomous whisper that cut deeper than any bullet. "You and your goddamn secrets." I froze, the champagne flute slipping from my fingers, shards scattering like the fragments of my carefully guarded life. In that instant, the entire town of Harlan, Iowa, 2,000 souls strong, bound by Bible verses and bloodlines, turned their eyes on me, the invisible son who dared to dream of something more than flannel shirts and Friday night football. But secrets have a way of clawing out, don't they? Mine had been festering for 28 years, a quiet rebellion wrapped in denial, until the night of Tommy's engagement party 2 weeks earlier, when the air hung thick with the scent of grilled burgers and unspoken judgments. Tommy, my baby brother, the golden boy with his quarterback shoulders and easy grin, had pulled me aside behind the old red barn, the one where we'd hidden as kids, trading comic books for stolen sips of Dad's whiskey. "Elijah," he'd said, clapping a hand on my shoulder, his blue eyes mirroring mine but unclouded by the storms I carried. "You gotta tell him about, you know." He meant the letters I'd been writing in secret, the ones tucked under my mattress like contraband. Confessions to a faceless lover I'd met online. A man named Alex from Chicago whose words lit fires in me that no Iowa sunset ever could. I laughed it off the way I always did, ruffling his hair like he was still 10. "And ruin your big night? Nah, little bro. Some promises are better left buried." But Tommy wasn't buying it. He'd seen the way I lingered too long at the edges of family gatherings, nursing a beer while cousins paired off with their high school sweethearts. He'd caught me once, staring at the curve of a waiter's jawline during last Thanksgiving, my fork hovering midair. That night, as fireworks cracked over the fairgrounds in celebration of Tommy's fiancée, Sarah, blonde, devout, the picture of Harlan perfection, I slipped away to the gravel lot, my phone glowing like a beacon. Alex's message waited. "Miss you. When are you coming to the city? We could walk the lakefront, hold hands without the world ending." My thumb trembled over the reply, heart pounding with a mix of terror and thrill. What would it feel like to be seen, to be wanted, not as the reliable Elijah who fixed tractors and mowed the church lawn, but as me, the one who wept at piano sonatas and sketched portraits of men in leather jackets? I typed back, "Soon. Promise." And in that promise, I felt the first crack in the facade. The days blurred into a haze of wedding prep. Mom enlisted me to polish the silver, her hands arthritic but steady as she chattered about grandbabies and eternal vows. "You're next, Eli," she'd say, winking, oblivious to the knife twist in my gut. Dad, ever the stoic farmer, grunted approvals from his recliner, the TV droning Fox News prophecies of family values under siege. My other brothers, Mark, the eldest, with his construction crew and beer gut. Luke, the middle one, deployed overseas but Skyping in with prayers. They embodied the Harlan Creed. Work hard, love God, marry young. I was the outlier, the sensitive one, as Aunt Clara called it, who preferred books to brawls. But sensitivity in Harlan wasn't a gift. It was a flaw to be prayed away. It was the Friday before the wedding when the dam broke. I'd driven into Des Moines for supplies. Really, a desperate hour in a dingy motel with Alex, our first real meeting. He was everything the screen hadn't captured. Tall, with a lopsided grin and calloused hands from bartending in Wrigleyville. We didn't go further than tangled limbs and whispered futures on threadbare sheets, but it was enough to rewrite my soul. "You're brave," he murmured against my neck. "Coming all this way. Brave." The word echoed as I sped home, windows down, wind whipping away the guilt. Pulling into the driveway, dust clouds billowing, I found the family gathered on the porch like a tribunal. Dad's face was thunder, Mom's eyes red-rimmed. Tommy stood apart, guilt etching his boyish features. "Eli," Dad barked as I killed the engine. Inside. Now. The kitchen smelled of lemon polish and dread. They sat me at the oak table, the one scarred from decades of meals and milestones. Uncle Ray, Dad's brother, the town sheriff with a badge polished brighter than his prejudices, leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "We know," he said flatly, "about the queer shit." The word landed like a slap. My stomach plummeted. How? Tommy's eyes darted away. He'd told them, in some misguided bid to help, to force my hand before the wedding spotlight amplified everything. Mom reached for my hand, her voice a plea. "We love you, son, but this ain't right. The Bible says, spare me the verses." I snapped, yanking back. Fire rose in my chest, years of swallowed truths igniting. "I'm gay, Mom. Have been since I knew what the word meant. And I love a man. His name's Alex, and he's kind and real and—" Dad's fist slammed the table, rattling the salt shakers. "No son of mine is gonna parade that filth in this house. Not with Tommy's wedding tomorrow. Not ever." His face purpled, veins bulging like rivers on a map. "You'll end it. Tonight. Or so help me. Elijah. I'll disown you faster than you can blink." The room spun. Disownment in Harlan wasn't just words. It was erasure. Cut from the will, the photos, the family plot. Uncle Ray slid a paper across the table. A single sheet, typed in legalese, witnessed by a notary who'd probably golfed with Dad last week. "Sign this," he said. "Promise of eternal silence. You confess your tendencies, vow to seek counseling, bury it deep. No coming out, no parades, no boyfriends. In return, we keep quiet. Family stays whole." I stared at the ink, the clauses blurring through hot tears. It was a cage, gilded with love's lie. Tommy shifted, whispering, "It's for the best, Eli. Just sign." Betrayal tasted like ash. My brother, my confidant, handing me the noose. "You told them," I whispered. He nodded, shamefaced. "I thought, if we fixed it quick." I signed. The pen scratched like claws on my heart. Eternal silence. As if love could be notarized away. The wedding dawned crisp, gold light filtering through the church's stained glass like fractured promises. I stood best man, tux crisp, smile plastered, while Tommy and Sarah exchanged rings under Pastor Hale's booming blessings. "What God has joined, let no man put asunder." Irony dripped from every word. Alex texted midway, "Thinking of you. Call later?" I deleted it, fingers numb. Reception at the VFW hall buzzed with polka and potluck. I danced with cousins, laughed at toasts, but inside, the silence screamed. Uncle Ray clapped my back, oblivious or uncaring, his flask warm in his pocket. The same one that would end him hours later. It happened at dusk, as lanterns flickered to life. The family table, laden with Jell-O salads and deviled eggs. Laughter crested on a joke about Sarah's veil, then boom. The shotgun, Dad's heirloom from pheasant hunts, discharged from Uncle Ray's lap. Misfire? Suicide? The autopsy would call it accidental. A drunk finger on the trigger during a heated debate over family honor. But Dad's whisper lingered. "You did this." Chaos erupted. Sarah screamed. Mom collapsed. I bolted outside, gulping night air, vomit burning my throat. The field stretched endless, corn whispering secrets the dead couldn't keep. Tommy found me by the creek, the one where we'd skipped stones as kids. "Eli," he gasped, face streaked with tears. "Uncle Ray, gone. Because of us. Not us. Me." The family fracture I'd widened by existing. "Go back," I muttered. "They need you." But he stayed, collapsing beside me. I didn't mean. The paper, it was Dad's idea. To protect the name. Protect. As if queerness was a stain, not a spark. We sat in silence, fireflies pulsing like faulty heartbeats. For the first time, I saw Tommy not as the golden boy, but as trapped as me. Marrying Sarah because Harlan demanded it. His own hidden doubts buried under white picket fences. "I love her," he said softly. "But not all the way." A confession fragile as moth wings. Was it the grief or the blood on our hands? He leaned in, our shoulders touching, and in that shared ache, something shifted. Not romance. God, no, but understanding. Brothers, both silenced in our ways. The funeral was a week later. Harlan's cemetery a sea of black under gray skies. Dad's eulogy painted Uncle Ray as the pillar, the protector. He believed in family above all, Dad intoned, eyes skipping over me like I was a ghost. I stood at the grave's edge, the promise crumpled in my pocket, ink smudged from rain. After, in the church basement potluck, whispers slithered, Elijah's curse. Ever since he started actin' funny. Funny, code for queer. Mom pulled me aside, her hug fierce. We can fix this, baby. Counseling starts Monday. Promise. I nodded, but inside, resolve hardened like frost on the windshield. That night, alone in my boyhood room, posters of Nolan Ryan yellowed, bed sagging. I unearthed the letters. Alex's words glowed on my phone. Where are you? I typed, deleted, typed again. I'm coming. For real this time. Dawn broke with a stolen drive. Dad's truck, keys swiped from the hook. I left a note. Can't bury it anymore. Forgive me. The highway unspooled west, toward Chicago's sprawl, where skylines pierced the lies. Alex waited at a dive bar off Lake Shore Drive, neon buzzing like neo-nerves. You made it, he said, pulling me into a kiss that tasted of freedom and fear. No Harlan eyes, no shotguns. Just us, raw and real. But freedom's price echoes. Months later, a letter arrived. Tommy's handwriting, shaky. Sarah's pregnant. Dad's dying cancer. Come home? The pull, the guilt. I went, not as the silent son, but as Elijah. With Alex's hand in mine, our story etched in every defiant step. Dad's hospital bed reeked of antiseptic and regret. He rasped, the paper. I tore it, shreds fluttering like confetti. No more promises, but the truth. He died at midnight, eyes locked on mine. Not in anger, but something softer. Atonement, perhaps. Mom wept, but hugged Alex too. Tommy confessed over coffee. His own doubts, a therapist's card hidden in his wallet. You're brave, he echoed Alex's words. Teach me. Harlan didn't change overnight. Whispers lingered, pews emptied when we visited. But in the fields under endless skies, I found grace. Not in silence, but in the roar of being seen. Love isn't a curse. It's the shotgun we choose not to fire. We buried Dad beside Uncle Ray, the earth swallowing secrets at last. As I scattered dirt, a breeze carried laughter. Kids in the distance, chasing fireflies. Life unbroken. And in Chicago, with Alex's arms around me, I whispered my own vow. Eternal, not silence, but song. The skyline glittered like a promise kept, Chicago's lights fracturing the black water of Lake Michigan as Alex and I walked the path from Navy Pier. It was October now, leaves crunching underfoot in shades of rust and regret. 6 months since I'd fled Harlan with nothing but a duffel and a heart full of holes. Penny for your thoughts? Alex teased, his breath fogging the chill air, fingers laced with mine in a grip that still felt like theft, stolen from the shadows I'd lived in. I squeezed back, forcing a grin, just wondering if fish have family reunions down there. All that drama in the deep. He laughed, that low rumble that had hooked me from pixelated chats to this tangible now. But my mind wandered to the envelope in my jacket pocket, unopened since the mail slot clattered that morning. Tommy's scrawl on the front, Eli, read this, please. Alex sensed the drift, stopping to cup my face, thumbs brushing stubble. Harlan calling? His eyes, hazel flecked with gold, held no judgment. Only the quiet strength that had rebuilt me, brick by queer brick. We'd shacked up in his Andersonville walk-up, a shoebox with creaky floors and a view of the L train rattling past like urgent confessions. He worked doubles at the bar. I tempied at a graphic design firm, sketching logos that bled into portraits of us. Tangled in sheets, laughing over takeout foe. Yeah, I admitted, pulling him close. His wool coat smelled of espresso and smoke, grounding me. Tommy, says Dad's. Not great. Cancer, stage 4, the kind that creeps like kudzu. I'd known, in the abstract. Phone calls dodged, emails skimmed. But the weight hit now, a stone in my chest. Go, Alex said simply, no plea or possessiveness. That's what I loved. His trust, unearned yet absolute. Take the train. I'll hold the fort. The Amtrak to Iowa sliced through heartland flatness. Fields sleeping under frost. My reflection ghosting the window. I cracked the envelope at last. Tommy's words spilling out in frantic loops. Eli, Dad's in Mercy General. Liver. Docs say months, maybe less. Mom's a wreck. Won't eat. Mark's burying himself in work. Luke's stateside on leave but fighting with everyone. The town's talking about you, us, the wedding. Uncle Ray's accident still haunts. Come? For him. For us. I get it, the paper was bullshit. I was scared. Still am. Sarah's due in spring. It's a boy. Your nephew. Please. Tears blurred the page. Nephew. A new branch on the family tree, innocent of our thorns. I thought of the promise, its ashes scattered in Dad's room. But embers lingered, guilt's glow. Harlan greeted me with biting wind and the wail of a distant siren. The bus depot unchanged. Flickering bulb, vending machine stocked with stale chips. Mom waited in her Oldsmobile, thinner than I remembered, silver threading her bun. Elijah? She breathed as I slid in, her hug all bones and perfume. Chanel No. 5, a relic from her waitress days. We drove in silence, radio humming gospel tunes that twisted like knives. The farmhouse loomed, porch light a hesitant beacon, silos standing sentinel against the dusk. Inside, the air was thick with liniment and loss. Dad lay in the living room, hospital bed dwarfing his frame, tubes snaking like accusations. His eyes, once steel, were milky but sharp. Boy! He croaked, voice gravel from chemo. Dad! I knelt, taking his hand. Calloused from plow and prayer, now fragile as tissue. You came. Not a question, but wonder. Mom bustled to the kitchen, clanging pots to mask her sobs. Tommy appeared from the hall, Sarah at his side, her belly a gentle swell under a maternity blouse. Bro! We embraced, awkward at first, then fierce. Forgiveness in the backslap, the lingering hold. Thanks. Sarah smiled, tentative. Heard a lot. Glad you're here. No judgment in her drawl. Just southern hospitality laced with curiosity. She'd grown up 2 farms over, choir girl with a backbone. And in her eyes, I saw potential ally. Dinner was strained ritual. Meatloaf, mashed potatoes, prayers led by Mark, who grunted through grace without looking up. Luke, fresh from Afghanistan dust, dominated talk of deployments and real men. His prosthetic leg a silent testament. I ate little, words fewer, the table a minefield of unspoken minds. Later, as stars pricked the sky, Dad called me to his side. The paper, he wheezed, was my fear, not yours. A cough racked him, Mom dabbing his brow. Saw it in you young, the way you watched the boys at ball games. Thought I could fix it, like a busted fence. I swallowed the lump. Love ain't broken, Dad, just different. He nodded, faint. That man of yours, Alex, bring him next time. See the farm. It wasn't absolution, but a bridge rickety but spanning. Nights blurred. Vigils by Dad's bed, stories swapped over coffee. Tommy confessed more, nights questioning his vows, fantasies of escape that shamed him. You're free now, he envied. I envy that. You're trapped by choice, I countered gently. But choices change. Sarah overheard, pulling me aside one dawn, decough steaming. He loves me. But he's fluid, like you said, fluid. A word from my world, slipping into hers. We really talked about support groups in Des Moines, books on queer family. We'll figure it, she vowed. For the baby. Dad rallied briefly, a good day of lucid chats and weak jokes. Remember the tornado 98? He'd rasp, and we'd laugh, the room warming. But decline clawed back, pain sharpening his features. The call came mid-November, Alex's voice steady on the line. Town's buzzing. Some pastor's sermon. Sins of the father, prodigal sons. They're gunning for you. Harlan's underbelly. The same folks who'd whispered post-wedding, now amplified by grief. Uncle Ray's death, pinned on moral decay. My return the spark. I stayed anyway, defiance rooting me. One evening, as snow dusted the eaves, a knock rattled the door. Pastor Hale, flanked by deacons, Bibles clutched like shields. "Brother Elijah," he intoned, "your presence troubles the flock. Repent or leave the fold." Dad, from his bed, bellowed, "Get out! My house, my son." Weakness fueled fury. They slunk away, tails tucked. But the seed was sown. Tommy pulled me onto the porch after, breath clouds mingling. "They're scared, Eli, of change, of you living loud." Loud, I chuckled bitterly. "I'm just breathing." He gripped my arm. "That's loud enough. Teach me that." Alex arrived unannounced 2 days later, train ticket stubbed in his pocket, duffel slung over shoulder. "Couldn't wait," he grinned, kissing me fierce on the threshold. Mom froze, then thawed with tea. Dad mustered a nod. The city boy. Over venison stew, stories flowed. Alex's Chicago escapades, drag brunches and pride floats. Eyes widened. Luke even cracked a smile. "Sounds chaotic." "Alive," Alex corrected. "Like love should be." That night, in the guest room, we lay tangled, whispers soft against the house's creaks. "This place," Alex murmured, "it's got hooks in you." "Yeah," I admitted. "But you're my anchor." Dad passed at dawn, slipping quiet as mist. We buried him under a weak sun. The plot beside Mom's parents, earth soft from thaw. Eulogy by Tommy. He was stubborn, but he learned. Loved deep, even when he faltered. Me, I spoke last, brief, voice cracking. "You taught me silence, Dad. I choose song." After, the farmhouse emptied slow. Mark to his crew, Luke to base, Sarah to nesting. Mom clung. "Stay," but I couldn't, not fully. Tommy walked me to the truck, nephew's ultrasound photo in hand. "Come for the birth. Be uncle. Wouldn't miss." We hugged, longer than before. "And Tommy? Find your voice. For you." Back in Chicago, snow blanketed the city in hush. Alex and I building snowmen on the lakefront. Lopsided, laughing. But Harlan's echo lingered, a reminder. Family isn't blood alone, but the ties we forge through fire. One spring evening, as cherry blossoms dusted Montrose Point, my phone buzzed. Tommy's voice, joyous. "It's a boy, Elias James. After you." Elias, a name reclaimed. I wept. Alex holding me, the world blooming around us. Love, it turns out, silences nothing. It amplifies. Spring in Chicago erupted like a confession long held, tulips thrusting defiant from cracked sidewalks, the air electric with renewal, and the faint tang of hot dog vendors hawking under the L. Elias's arrival had cracked something open in me. A tenderness I'd armored against. Now spilling free in daily calls to Tommy, photos of tiny fists and gummy smiles forwarded like talismans. "He's got your eyes?" Tommy joked over FaceTime, bouncing the bundle on his knee while Sarah beamed from the background, her exhaustion laced with glow. "Hazel troublemakers." I laughed, propped on our fire escape with Alex nursing a beer. The city hum a soundtrack to this fragile piece. Says the one who skipped school to fish the creek. But beneath the banter, worry simmered. Mom's updates were clipped. Town's healing. Come for Memorial Day? Parades got floats. Healing. As if grief and grudge were poultices for deeper wounds. Alex sensed it, always did. His hand finding mine across the wrought iron rail. "You're going, aren't you?" Not a question, but an invitation. We'd danced this before. My pull to roots, his steady orbit. "We'll make a road trip. Me, you, bad playlists." "You hate country," I teased. "For you, I'd two-step." His kiss sealed it, salt-lipped and sure. The drive south was a ribbon of interstate and introspection. Corn reawakening in emerald waves. radio flipping between Springsteen anthems and static sermons. We arrived Harlan at twilight, the town decked in red, white, and blue bunting, fireflies winking like conspirators. Mom enveloped us at the door, flour dusted from pie crusts, her hug encompassing Alex like he'd always belonged. "City life suiting you," she murmured, eyeing our linked hands with a mix of awe and ache. Inside, the house breathed easier. Dad's bed dismantled, walls repainted soft blue, Elias's bassinet a throne in the corner. Tommy clapped Alex's back, man code for welcome, while Sarah thrust the baby into my arms. "Meet your namesake," Elias gurgled, fingers questing, and in that grip, time folded. The boy I'd been, silenced and small, mirrored in this tiny air. Memorial Day dawned brass band bright, the parade a ritual of floats towed by John Deere's, veterans in crisp uniforms saluting the flag-draped reviewing stand. We staked claim on the curb with coolers of lemonade and Tupperware triumphs, neighbors nodding warily at Alex. The outsider, the friend turned fixture. Whispers rustled like leaves. "That's the one." City changed him, but Elias's coups drowned them, a shield of innocence. Pastor Hale caught my eye from the dais, his sermon veering sharp. "In times of trial, we cling to tradition. Let not the winds of whim erode our foundations." Whim. My life, reduced. Alex's jaw tightened beside me. I squeezed his knee. "Let it roll." Post-parade picnic at the fairgrounds buzzed with barbecues and bocce, kids chasing balloons under oaks. Luke cornered me by the grill, spatula in hand like a scepter. "Heard your designin now. Queers in ads or something?" His tone probed, prosthetic creaking as he shifted. "Logos for bakeries, coffee shops, neutral ground. You? Stateside permanent." He nodded, eyes distant. "Yeah, therapy, for the leg and head." A pause, then, "Saw your sketchbook once, kid. Those drawings. Knew then. Not accusation, but bridge. Proud. Eli. Really. Proud." The word hung, unfamiliar as silk. We flipped burgers in companionable quiet, smoke curling skyward like released prayers. But Harlan's undercurrents stirred that afternoon, as thunderheads gathered on the horizon. A deacon, bald, beetle-browed, approached our blanket, Bible tucked under arm. "Elijah." A word. Alex tensed. Tommy hovered. "Make it quick," I said, standing. "Your lifestyle. It's dividing the flock. Pastor asks you consider leaving the potluck early. For harmony." "Harmony. There's not mine." Rage flickered, but Tommy stepped in. "He's family. Eats where he sits." The man faltered, retreating with a mutter. But the seed festered. By dusk, as rain pattered tents, sidelong glances sharpened to stares. A cousin's wife hissed to another, bringing sin to the Esmores. Elias fussed in Sarah's arms, as if sensing the storm. Alex pulled me aside behind the cotton candy stand, rain slicking his hair. "This place is poison, Eli. Slow drip." "I know." But roots ran deep, tangled with love and loss. One more day. For Mom. That night, farmhouse lamplit, we gathered for stories. Dad's fox hunts, Uncle Ray's botched proposals. Laughter flowed freer with wine. Elias passed like a talisman. Mark, usually granite, softened. "Missed you, bro." After the wedding. We all did. Missed. Acknowledgement, partial but potent. Betrayal struck at midnight, thunder rumbling like judgment. My phone buzzed. Anonymous text. "Check the church site. Your truth." Heart sinking, I clicked the link. Pastor Hale's blog, a post timestamped hours ago. A prodigal's return. When mercy meets modesty. It detailed my struggles, veiled but vicious, quotes twisted from old confessions. The promise alluded to as a covenant broken. Screenshots of my Chicago socials. Alex and me at Pride, arms raised in rainbow riot. Pray for Elijah's soul, lest it drag others under. Fury boiled. I stormed the parsonage in the downpour, Alex at my heels, truck tires churning mud. Hale answered in robe, feigned surprise melting to smug. "Elijah." Stormy night for a visit. You outed me. Voice low, lethal. Twisted my life into your sermon fodder. Truth sets free, he intoned, door cracking wider. Your father's passing. It revealed much. The family's shame. Alex growled. Shame's yours, preacher. Hiding behind verses while you bully. Hale's eyes narrowed. Sodom's wages, boy. Leave or I'll call the law. Tommy arrived then, breathless, rain streaming. Enough, he shoved past, facing Hale. That's my brother, my blood. You print one more word, and the whole congregation hears about your donations to that Vegas trip. Blackmail? No leverage. Tommy's voice shook, but held. We're done with silence. Hale blanched, door slamming. We retreated, soaked and seething, to the truck. How'd you know? I asked Tommy. Sarah saw the post. We've been talking. About everything. His eyes met mine, resolute. No more hiding. For any of us. Dawn broke clear, the storm scoured clean. We left Harlan that morning, Elias's photo tucked in my wallet, Mom's pie warm on the seat. Come back, she whispered at goodbye. With him. Always. The drive north was cathartic, windows down, wind exorcising ghosts. Alex cued our playlist, Dylan to disco, a queer canon. You stood up, he said at a rest stop, kissing my temple. Proud of you. Back home. Chicago welcomed with bustle and bloom. Art house films, rooftop soirees with friends who'd become family. Drag queens with hearts of gold, poets penning our epics. But Harlan's echo lingered, a reminder of battles half won. Summer solstice, we hosted a barbecue on our stoop, rainbow flags fluttering. Tommy FaceTimed in, Elias waving chubby arms. Parade here was wild, he reported. I told Sarah everything. About the doubts. We're seeing a counselor. Together. Relief flooded. Good. You deserve that. And you? City treating the rebel right. Like a king. Alex slung an arm around me, grill smoke haloing us. Fall crept in with crisp edges. Leaves carpeting paths like fallen confessions. Work steadied. My designs caught an agency's eye, freelance blooming into full-time. Alex got promoted head mixologist, shaking up more than cocktails. Nights we dreamed aloud. A house in Logan Square, maybe adoption down the line. But November brought frost and fracture. Mom's call, Mark's in trouble. Lost the crew contract. Blaming. Old wounds. Blaming me unspoken. I went alone this time, train rattling resolve. Harlan huddled under early snow, the farmhouse a haven of pie and pain. Mark paced the kitchen, beer in fist. You waltz in, live your fairy tale while I'm scraping. Dad's gone cause of this family's cracks. You cracked him first. Words like shrapnel. I didn't choose the fault lines, Mark. They were there. He deflated, slumping. Lost everything. Wife left. Kids with her. Vulnerability, raw. We talked till dawn, his isolation, the machismo mask. You're happy, he envied. How? By owning it. Dawnlight filtered, illuminating paths untrod. He hugged me goodbye, gruff. Don't be a stranger. Chicago's lights beckoned, but growth rooted. Monthly visits, bridges mending slow. Winter solstice under tree lights, Alex knelt. Marry me? Ring simple, silver band etched with cornstalks. A nod to roots reclaimed. Yes? I breathed, tears salting the kiss. Harlan's silence broken, not by shotgun, but song. The wedding was a quiet affair. June's full moon gilding the Chicago Botanic Garden in silver hush. Paths lined with lupins nodding like approving elders. No Harlan horde, but our chosen tribe. Alex's bar family in sequins and slacks. My design crew with sketchpads as gifts. Tommy and Sarah beaming from the front row with Elias toddling at their feet, clutching a boutonniere like a trophy. Mom sat beside them, elegant in lavender, her hand in Luke's. His uniform traded for a suit, prosthetic polished. Mark loomed at the back, tie askew but eyes soft, a peace offering in his presence. Vows exchanged under an arbor of wild roses. Words we'd penned in fevered nights. I promise not silence, but symphony. Your joy's my melody, your shadow's my harmony. Alex's voice cracked on the last, ring sliding home, and the kiss, tender, triumphant, drew cheers that scattered fireflies into frenzy. Reception under string lights buzzed with toasts. Tommy's, heartfelt. Eli taught me courage isn't loud. It's showing up, scars and all. Laughter, tears, cake sliced with a rented saber from Luke's Arsenal days. Dancing barefoot on dew-kissed grass, Alex twirled me, his grin boyish. Husband, he whispered, the word new minted. Feels right, like coming home, to him, to myself. Honeymoon was a road trip west, Badlands to Big Sur, canyons echoing our laughter, motels with neon vows. In Joshua Tree, under star-flooded skies, we lay on a blanket, meteors streaking like grace. Think Harlan's changed? Alex mused, head on my chest. Some. Enough. Tommy's updates painted progress. Couples counseling yielding truths. Sarah's church group opening to diverse testimonies. Mark's new gig, steady. Luke's VA advocacy including queer vets. Mom's garden, blooming defiant. But return brought ripples. July heatwave, a package arrived. Dad's old Bible, pages dog-eared at Leviticus, but a note slipped inside. Mom's script, read the red letters. Love wins. Jesus' words, underlined, mercy, neighbor, least of these. August, Tommy called frantic, Elias sick. Fever. Hospital. We flew standby, hearts in throats. Des Moines mercy, sterile halls echoing old fears. The boy rallied, tiny warrior with IVs and our stories. Alex's tales of city dragons slain, my sketches of farm adventures. Tommy gripped my hand. Couldn't do this without you. Family, I said, and meant it, all of it. Fall deepened bonds. Joint visits, Elias's first steps on the farmhouse porch, Alex hoisting him high amid giggles. Harlan thawed slow. Pastor Hale retired amid health concerns. His successor a soft-spoken woman with rainbow pins on her stole. Whispers faded to nods. A pride flag fluttered from the library, tentative but tenacious. November, over turkey and tensions eased. Mark cornered me in the barn. Seeing someone, guy from the site, carpenter, scared shitless. Confession, courageous. Take it slow, I advised. But take it. He nodded, hey dusted. Thanks, Eli, for modeling. Thanksgiving grace, led by Sarah. For truths unearthed and loves unbroken. Winter wrapped us in white, Chicago's lake effect snow a blanket for dreams. We adopted a rescue mutt, Cornelius, for the fields and plotted expansions. Nursery? Not yet, but soon. Spring 2028, Elias's third birthday. A hybrid bash, Harlan to Zoom, cakes dual-layered with frosting rainbows. Tommy pulled me aside, eyes shining. Sarah and I were separating. Amicably, she met someone, a teacher, and well, the carpenter's name is Ben. Shock, then joy. You deserve this. We both do. Hugs all around, Elias oblivious, blowing bubbles. Summer solstice, Alex and I stood on our Logan Square stoop. House ours now, creaky but cherished. Watching neighbors parade past, pride flags waving. Card from Mom. Proud of my sons. Always. But climax crested that July, Harlan's annual fair under thunderous skies. We'd come for the rodeo, Elias astride a pony, when shouts erupted from the beer tent. Deacons circling Tommy, fists balled over rumors. Ben, new to town, caught in crosshairs. We waded in, Alex shielding Ben, me facing fire. Enough! My voice boomed, echoing Dad's last stand. This family's queer. Deal with it. Stares, murmurs, then cracks. Luke stepped forward. Back off. My brother's choice. Sarah. Fierce. Love's not yours to judge. Even Mark growled assent. The circle broke, deacons slinking, but the air charged with shift. Fairgoers clapped tentative, then full thunder not of storm, but solidarity. After Under Clearing Stars, Tommy clasped my shoulder. You started this, Eli. The coming out. We all did. Betrayal long buried. Emotions unearthed. Romance not just mine but woven through us. Years folded. Elias flowered into a boy with questions and crayons, drawing families in every hue. Tommy and Ben built a life 2 towns over, adoption papers in process. Mark's partner, Javier, joined Thanksgivings, his laugh filling voids. Luke founded a support group, Vets, Queer and Straight, Healing in Tandem. Mom, remarried to a widower with gentle eyes, gardened with abandon. Alex and I, we parented via mentorship, Elias's summers in the city, teaching skateboards and sonatas. Our own child came via surrogate in 2032. A girl, Harper Rose, fierce as her namesake Thorns. Harlan evolved, Patchwork, a queer youth center in the old VFW, fairs with inclusive floats. Not utopia but human, flawed, forgiving. On our 10th anniversary, back in the garden, vows renewed under that same arbor, now overgrown with clematis. Family spanned Rose. Tommy's twins, Mark's wedding band glinting, Luke's stories, Mom's tears. I was the only one. I toasted, glass raised. But look what silence birthed. Cheers rose, a symphony. Eternal, not hush but hallelujah. In America's heartland, where shotguns once silenced, love now sings, loud, unbroken, ours.